in the international competition of the Quran. It was a blessing that he reached that part, and now, as you know, he's become a beautiful reciter. Inshallah, he'll continue to improve. His recitation is fantastic. From last year to this year, I think there's a huge leap in his abilities. And now he's going to do a presentation also. As you know, he does go around now lecturing around different centers across the United States. And we hope and pray that Allah makes his tongue very smooth so that the message of Islam is delivered eloquently so that the next generation is saved. And the reason I'm confident about him, I know that his character as a humble individual can be vouched for. And I love people who have that quality. Welcome him, please, with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
No talking, please. No talking. We're starting.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا نبينا محمد وآله الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين صلوات محمد وآله. So our presentation is on the quality of life, and I'd like to make this as interactive as possible. So I'm going to start off with a series of few questions, simple questions, and if this applies to you, just raise your hand. And if the next question still applies to you, just keep your hand raised. My first question, I have everyone here who wants to finish school, whether it's high school, middle school, university. Okay? Who wants to, we all have goals and aspirations, whether you become an engineer, architect, scientist. So none of you guys want to become? Okay, good. Who plans on eventually marrying, starting a family, leaving a legacy behind?
Inshallah.
Anyone? No one? Nice. Okay, so I'll assume most of you.
Am I supposed to read?
The purpose for this presentation is to make you guys aware of something. Each day of our life is a piece of the puzzle, and the puzzle represents our entire life. Let's say, for example, if this represents 70 years of life, or 80 on average, and for the majority, we all live, for people though who are elder, can vouch for this, that they've lived maybe a life of high quality where they've achieved a numerous amount of things. But I want you all to take into consideration a month of your life, let's say the past month of the month, and just think about what you achieved from that month. And you may have good highs and lows within that month. Good. Now take a week and then take a day. Can you say that the amount, the quality of a month where, let's say you had a month where, for example, you went to you got, I don't know, a type of accolade from a science fair, for example, or even being spiritually high. Can you take that same month and apply it and say that I had that same feeling and even every day of the week? For example, the Prophet said, a person whose 2 days are similar is at loss. Because if each and every one of our days represent the next one, and we're not leaping forward to becoming a spiritually better person or even learning, taking up a new skill, then we're not making any progress. And the reason why I want to bring this, because before I mention this, I pray that we all have lengthy lives. But I'm trying to say that if you are at age 25 or 20 and either you or a friend that has these aspirations to become this architect or engineer, whatever it is, and do Allah's work, they pass away. How many of you think that this is unfair, that you had all these dreams that you wanted to accomplish, and all of a sudden you passed away and God took that away from you? How many of you think that's unfair? Okay, why do you think that's unfair? I want to get your perspective before I go on. So everyone thinks it's fair. But why?
No, it's just, I don't, okay. Well, it's just because, like, the person had such a long life, such dreams that she could have accomplished, and, you know, it's got taken away from him, so.
Okay, so the reason why I ask because we live in this we have this type of hope that okay, I'll live on to be 70 years or 80 years and then maybe I'll accomplish X, Y, Z. I want to mention a hadith by Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salatu wassalam. Muhammad wa Muhammad. He says, in regard to the world, be as if you are going to live forever. With respect to the hereafter, be as if you are going to die tomorrow. The first part, in regard to the world, be as if you're going to live forever. I feel like we all do this. For example, if I want to go to have a doctor's appointment, we always plan ahead. It's not like, oh, I don't know if I'll be alive tomorrow, so I'm not going to make an appointment. We all make an appointment, whether it's a doctor's appointment, or going to class, or homework. Like, I'm not going to do my homework because I don't know if I'll be alive tomorrow. Of course, we do our homework. But sometimes we take on this idea and we forget that we may not wake up the next day. And this brings up another point, which is laziness and being lethargic when it comes to certain things. Sometimes we're even lazy that we don't even want to pray. And the amount of time that we waste, and I can say this personally because no one told me this when I was younger, we all have this free time, and as soon as we go to high school, the free time decreases, and up when you reach college, there was such thing as free time. And we don't take advantage of this free time that we have, whether it's becoming knowledgeable, reading a book, or taking up a new skill. Sometimes we think, oh, you know, I'm not entitled to anything. But Allah honored us. He says in Surah Al-Isra, وَلَقَدْ كَرَمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. He has honored us. We have the ability to do so much, and sometimes we sell ourselves short, thinking, oh, he may have a certain quality, but oh, I don't have anything. But when you have all this free time, you don't do anything with it, and you don't waste. For example, something we do during the summers when there's no school, we sleep a lot. That's one thing. And I want to bring an example, just so you guys can understand. If I were to take, or if you would take a trip from New York to California, a road trip, and you fill your tank up, and what happens is the gas meter doesn't work. How many of us are going to continue on this trip, thinking, oh, you know what, I'll just still drive along and I'll stop by somewhere in Pennsylvania? Chances are no one will do this because you're uncertain where you're going to stop, and next thing you know, it's 9 p.m. and you're in the middle of the road and there's no one to help you. So why is it that when it comes to our life, we just give away free time and we think we'll go on to live forever? Allah says in Surah An-Nisa, verse 77, قُلْ مَتَاعُ الدُّنْيَا قَلِيلٌ. The provision of this world is short. Allah is telling us that this life is short, yet we still treat it in a way which will always live forever and forget that we may not wake up the next day. And I'd like to end off by one more hadith, which goes in, even zooms into this by the Prophet. He says, lower your expectations such that when you wake up in the morning, you say, I will not see the night. And when you go to sleep at night, you say, I will not see the morning. And be prepared to depart from this life and yearn to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The point of this my talk is not to scare you from death, but to rather make you aware that life is never guaranteed. The only thing that guaranteed is death. You may live on for 1 year or 50 years. We don't wake up, you don't have this type of heads up display which tells us you have 75 years left or something like that. And Shaitan always wants us to hope, and hope has two sides to it. There's nothing wrong with having expectations and hoping for something to come. It's always good to see far ahead and plan for next year or next couple of months. But also realize that that may never come. And one more thing I'd like to mention is that when we go to sleep, Allah takes our souls away and it goes to the heavens. And this is in Surah Zumar chapter 42, Allah says this, that our souls depart our bodies, and it's Allah that brings it back when we wake up in the morning. So in a way, when we sleep, we are in a, not completely dead, but almost dead. And there might be a chance where we never wake up. And one thing I'd like to leave off with you is, Ask forgiveness from Allah when you go to sleep at night, because you may not wake up the next day and yes, and that's it. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.